With us are detectives Corey Sales, Chris Carroll, and Ken Gavin, whose jobs are to track and dismantle gangs as well as discourage young people from joining. It can't be that easy to discourage a teenager from doing something that they want to do. So what techniques do you use? How do you dissuade a teenager who doesn't want to hear from an authority figure not to join a gang?
Well, for me, the biggest thing was breaking down the barriers of a police officer dealing with the youth. There's a lot of barriers when it comes to dealing with the youth. They don't trust police, so you have to gain that trust. One of the ways I was able to gain trust, again, was from coaching sports and being out in the community and the kids actually seeing me out there and seeing other kids intermingle and talk to me. But as far as trying to discourage kids from being in the gangs, I guess they feed off of you as an officer and how you carry yourself and how you deal with other kids that may not be in gangs. Because ultimately, I don't think kids really want to be in a gang. They just want to belong to something and feel a part of something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a matter of belonging. Detective Carroll, you brought some hard evidence. Let's talk about some of this paraphernalia that we're looking at down here in front of you.
Well, actually, this was brought by Detective Sales here, so I'll let him speak about it.
Yeah, what do we have here?
Well, this is some of the items. Came in contact with some gang members. These Sereno 13 jerseys were taken from some Sereno gang members in Hampton back in 2005 at a carnival. These gentlemen walked in, they were flying their colors, and we made contact with them. We were able to talk to them, find out that they were part of a gang, and they actually volunteered their jerseys after our conversation. It was kind of enlightening that they wanted to talk about their involvement in the gang and offered their jerseys to us as props to use when we go out and speak in different forums. Also, we have some black and red Nike Air Force Ones, which is a common shoe worn by our youth today, also called fatheads. But you can see that this shoe here in particular has been altered, where a red bandana has been cut out to form, to be part of the shoe, to represent their set, which would be blood here. This was G-Shine, or GKB, Gangsta Killer blood set this individual had, he was wearing. So now you can buy these shoes already ready to go with the red bandanas on them.
Now, the police aren't the only ones who have to deal with gang activities. And joining us is another man who's very familiar with it. He's the president of the Peninsula chapter of the Crimeline. Mr. Kuntz, what's your 2 cents on this?
Well, I think Detective Sales was very important, mentioned something very important, and that is trust. And we're fortunate in Hampton Roads that we have 188 Lock You Up, which is a anonymous tip line where people can call and are protected by the laws of the state of Virginia. It is totally anonymous. And along with gang activity comes the anti-snitching culture, and that is pervasive throughout our community. And so tools that aid law enforcement and intervention, such as the tip line, are very important. So everybody knows 188 Lock You Up. They just need to have confidence that they are protected by statutes in the state of Virginia.
Show of hands, how many people sitting in here right now have heard that phrase, stop snitching? Show of hands. Yeah, you're exactly right about that. Well, here's the deal. These gentlemen right here and Mr. Kuntz are the ones on the front lines, and they'd like you to remember a different phrase, 1888 Lock You Up, instead of stop snitching. When we come back, we're going to open up the floor to this student audience to find out how they feel about this issue, as well as get a final thoughts from all of our guests. Stay tuned. Awareness and prevention are critical in the fight against gangs and violence. You can find out more information and access to the resources presented in this program online at cox11.com. One way you can stay plugged in.